And finally, due to the government shutdown and the White House cooking staff unable to cook due to being furloughed. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I was asking. The national champion Clemson Tigers were treated to a feast fit for kings. Fast food. Donald Trump, who footed the bill, said, quote, "I think we're going to serve McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King with some pizza. I really mean it. It would be interesting. And I would think that's their favorite food. Great American food." For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Put it on the poll. Is McDonald's great American food? You can just...
It's fantastic.
Whoa. McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King with some pizza. That is America at its best right there. Listen, if I win a championship, I don't want beef stroganoff. I want a Big Mac, okay?
If I could have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and Pizza Hut cater my wedding, I would.
The New York Open, February 9th through the 17th at Long Island's Nassau Coliseum. If you want tickets and information, you go to newyorkopen.com. Andy Roddick with us. He has done a lot of interesting things. Thank you for joining us. We begin with the pressing question of the day. Would you have had McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and pizza cater your wedding because they're such great American foods, Andy?
I'm sitting here shaking my head only because I've traveled outside of America, and that's what the rest of the world thinks too.
How sad.
Well,
So it's a yes.
Well, he's been a symbol for Americana for a long time. You go everywhere representing America in other countries. Does that go always well? Probably not, right?
It's not the best if that's what we're claiming as our best and brightest. I mean, he could have thrown in like a Chick-fil-A nugget or like, just something to add a little class.
What is Andy Roddick, if he could have ever gotten fat during his playing days eating something, what would it have been? Like, what would have been the food that would have been your weakness?
Mexican food would be it. I'm from Texas, and I rarely say no to queso.
Why are you such a Nebraska fan?
I was born in Nebraska. So we got Frost. He's got him playing a little bit. It was a rough start to the season, but we played hard the whole way.
You grew up with Serena Williams, right? You've known her for a long time. That's why I thought you went to prep school here. Did you not?
I was in Florida. Yeah, so I was in South Florida, which is where Rick Macy Tennis Academy was, which is where Serena went once she moved from Compton. So we've known each other since we were probably 9 years old.
What is most amazing about her?
It's just insane, like to see this girl that you used to play on the court next to, kind of all the time. And people kind of see Serena and she's this iconic figure and can kind of create attention, but seeing her at 9-10 years old practicing 8-10 hours a day and just it's just amazing to kind of see where she's gone in the world of sports. I mean, she's on the Mount Rushmore of sporting figures in this country and globally.
Tennis is so lonely, Andy. It's so repetitive, so monotonous. I think it's why it burns out its young. How has it not burned her out?
I think it's weird. I'll tell a story. It was like 2007, and she, I think, played one or two events that year. And I remember having a conversation out loud where I'm like, listen, you have to maximize every day. You have to get up. You have to work. You have to straighten. I was like, I just don't think she's getting enough out of it, And fast forward 5 years, I'm burned out. I'm done, and she's still playing because she played a smarter schedule than I did.
Andy, are you surprised? I mean, you knew her growing up, so you watched her. Are you surprised, though, that she turned out? Because I don't think many people had this, that Serena turned out to be better than Venus?
What's crazy is that, you can better than Venus, but you imagine being second in your family in tennis and you have 5 Wimbledon titles? That's kind of I come from a group of farmers, right? I win one tournament ever, and it's like, yes, you're the best. Imagine winning 5 Wimbledons, and it's like, yeah, well, Serena's done that too.
The New York Open, February 9th through the 17th, Long Island's Nassau Coliseum. Tickets and information, go to newyorkopen.com. Andy Roddick with us on ESPN Radio.
Andy, the NFL playoffs are going on, and as a kid, you played tennis against a certain quarterback, and I wondered if you could give us a scouting report on how good he was.
Yeah, Drew Brees. Good thing he didn't end up playing tennis. But we played. I think he was 13 and I was 9. I always kind of played up, and I want to say that I lost to him the first 2 times that we played. and then I beat him, and he quit.
Good move by him.
Drew Brees, what a quitter.
So you're welcome, football.
Yeah, but he could say forever that he's beaten Andy Roddick at tennis. I mean,
You know what's amazing is, like, guarantee he'll make the Super Bowl this year, and no one's heard my name in 8 years. And they'll be like, hey, Drew Brees, you know he's a great all-around athlete. You beat Andy Roddick in tennis when they were young.
Andy Roddick with us on ESPN Radio. What do you remember about hosting Saturday Night Live?
I remember, so before you actually do the real show, there's like a full 2-hour run-through where you do, the full wigs, and they basically do the show before the show. And I remember walking into the dressing room after I had bombed the rehearsal, and my buddy was waiting there for me, and he had a six-pack. And he goes, well, it's not going to get any worse. You might as well. And that was that.
Oh, wow. Wow. And so how many beers did you have before going out there the next time?
Enough.
What do you remember about being punked?
You know what I remember about that? I remember that. So I got stuck on this landslide situation in California, and I was only there for like one day. I was in and out. I think I had to do, one of the talk shows at night, and I remember there was like all this construction workers, and they let us through, but they wouldn't let us out. But I remember the lady who was working the construction gate to like let us through initially. She didn't really look like a lady that would be working construction. She was probably like 5'7", like 122 pounds. And that was like the first. I'm like, it doesn't seem like my Uncle Rob did construction, and he didn't look like her. And so that was kind of I was like, that was a little weird. And then we got stuck, and that was that.
Andy, I've been telling Dan for years, me and our producer Mike have been telling Dan for years that no one wants to play John Isner. That if you draw John Isner, you have to be prepared to play for days, because Isner will play for days. He'll play for as long as he needs to play for. What was your reaction when you saw your next match was John Isner?
Well, it's weird, though, because you play long, but the points don't last longer than 2 shots ever. So it's kind of like you're just busy. It'd be like if you're in baseball, if you just walked from the warm-up, the on-deck circle, took 3 pitches, and then walked back. It wouldn't be that exhausting, right? But you're just out there. You can't get time back.
It's just boring? It's just boring. It's not even exercise. This is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like I wish I would have had, I wish back in the day I would have had like a Fitbit. I could have tracked my steps or done something,
Yeah, there's no reason to play the games out. Just go to a tiebreaker and play that, and that's it.
Do you hate the way tennis has gone in terms of rewarding that kind of game? Because that can't be fun for the spectator.
I actually think it's gone the other way. I mean, I remember in the mid-'90s you would talk about it was Sampras and Ivanisevic and the tail end of Becker, and I actually thought there were way more big servers back then. I mean, if you look at the guys who are have become kind of the best 3 players of all time, none of them are really big servers. Like, they actually play long points with Novak and Rafa and Roger. So I feel like what used to be the norm is now kind of like a bit of an outlier with guys like Isner.
Again, the New York Open, February 9th through the 17th at Long Island's Nassau Coliseum. For tickets and information, go to NewYorkOpen.com. Among your 2 secret talents, I will allow you to choose one, and thank you for being such a good sport. You can choose one that you do now. It's either doing Ice Ice Baby or doing Cartman from South Park. Which do you choose?
Hey, Dad. I chose Cartman.
Do you have any more, or is that all you got? Is that a very limited impersonation?
No, man, but I do have much respect for your research department for that one.
Okay, that's all you got. Way to go, research department. Can we get some Ice Ice Baby?
You cannot.
All right, see you later.
Man.
Andy, thank you. We appreciate your time.